Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we discuss Lion L. Johnson and Cypher, as we ask if we could see a connection to their stories. General spoiler warning to begin, as today we will be referencing events from across the Warhammer 40k universe, in particular the novel The Lion Son of the Forest and Cypher, Lord of the Fallen. As always, I really recommend you read the stories for yourself first, without spoilers, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. But with that said, let's waste no time and just jump straight in. So the Dark Angels, from the First Legion to the Unforgiven, a legacy shrouded in secrets, circles within circles, knowledge hidden, restricted, a mystery to those outside. The biggest of which, since the days of the heresy, has undoubtedly been the enigmatic Cypher. His identity, his purpose, his loyalty, all unknown. A riddle attempted to be solved by each successive Supreme Grand Master, most often resulting in disaster. While many of the Ancient Legion may possibly recognise the face beneath his shrouded hood, there is only one who we can say for absolute certainty would recognise and know his name. The Dark Angel's Primarch, Lion L. Johnson. He is the only being in existence who knows every secret of the First. And there is no name amongst his one-time legion he doesn't know. And now we have L. Johnson returned. So will we see the two interact? Come face to face? Will there be a connection between their stories? Well, it's an absolute foregone certainty to me that L. Johnson would have heard of the hunt for Cypher, and most definitely would have read every piece of Unforgiven history available, from the successor chapters to the private logs of the Supreme Grand Masters. He'll be as clued up on just what's happened to his chapter and successors over the past 10,000 years as he can be, and you'd expect him to have his own suspicions on Cypher's identity. The lion sword upon his back, quite possibly a clue only L. Johnson can realise. Whether Cypher would receive L. Johnson's offer of redemption, however, well, that remains to be seen. But I think there could be a very interesting connection between their two future stories. Something that could lead to not only their meeting, but the possible development after too. And that is the Emperor of Mankind. Within the novel Cypher, Lord of the Fallen, we saw Cypher in the immediate time after Rebute Guilliman's Terran Crusade, the initial journey Guilliman made after his reawakening from Ultramar to the Throne World. Cypher having aided Guilliman on this quest in exchange for an audience with the Emperor, instead was betrayed by Guilliman and thrown into jail beneath the palace, whereupon the events of the story see him escape with his fellow Fallen and attempt to reach the throne room. Now, it was the end of this story that's the important part, as standing before one of the final doors to the throne room itself, Cypher was confronted by a custodian named Hekaron, who had been hunting him throughout the palace. Now, Hekaron had witnessed a vision on the cusp of death, of a figure showing him all the things that could transpire if Cypher were to enter the throne room. Everything from stabbing the Emperor to offering the Lion Sword as penance, and a ton of unknown possibilities. The obvious implication here is that Hekaron believed that this was the Emperor showing him these visions, and then rising up from apparent death Hekaron cut off Cypher before the door, uttering the message of "Not yet." "You may pass no further," says Hekaron. The Warden of the Dark Cells stands at the end of the bridge. His guardian spear is upright in his hand. His armour is cracked and streaked with blood. His face a mass of clotting wounds. But he is unmoving, poised, a sentinel of broken gold. I look at the custodian. Our gazes lock. "I knew you would be here," I say. "You could not have known that," he replies. "Someone like you had to be here." Hekaron gives the smallest of nods. And here I am. I shake my head. "I have given everything to be here," I say, and I can hear the weariness in my voice. "Yes," says Hekaron, "but I have a duty I must perform, and you cannot pass." Then all must be as it must. I remain still, not the stillness of readiness, but of consideration. I am wondering if I should kill Hekaron. He is wondering if I can. "I know where you are going," says Hekaron, "and perhaps why." "You cannot know that," I say. "You asked me once if I wanted to know a secret. Now I tell you that I have something that I must say to you, and that you must hear." "I will pass here," I say. "You are bound to try and stop me. One will live. That is the only answer that matters. What can be said that can change anything?" "Not yet," says Hekaron. I blink once. Hekaron does not move, but waits as the beat of his heart passes in silence. Is that a message? Hekaron tilts his head. "The choice is yours. Heed what has been said, and go from this place, or continue. You are a jailer and a custodian. You cannot let me go. I have my duty, and I serve one thing above all else." While it's of course open to interpretation, the obvious conclusion your mind leaps to, or at least mine does, is that this is a message from the Emperor. At the very least, it's certain that Hekaron believed it to be so, and after delivering this message he would succumb to his wounds, falling dead before the door to the throne room. And so we have the tantalizing possibility Cypher is working for the Emperor, at least in some way. How that makes sense given all the times Cypher's turned up alongside the forces of chaos, I don't know. We're just going to have to shelf that for now. And when it comes to L. Johnson, of course we have already seen the Emperor instrumental to his story. The strange imperial building within the Caliban Forest walkways, in which the lion felt his father's presence as he was awarded the Emperor's shield. And then of course we have the mysterious dying king within the forest too, who I've spoken about previously, believing to be an aspect of the Emperor in some way too. A figure L. Johnson needs to ask the right question of, to gain his attention. If indeed this does prove to be the Emperor, I think it's a logical assumption the lion will have to do something for him, to help him in some way. And considering it's possible Cypher could be working for the Emperor too, and given the obvious link with L. Johnson that he has, I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility for their quests or objectives to become intertwined. It's actually the moment the lion considers his father's divinity within the novel The Lion Son of the Forest that makes me wonder of a possible link with Cypher. "The Emperor must be allowed to die," Seraphax says, raising his staff. The drops of blood begin to smoke, and the smoke weaves outwards, along the lines marked into the floor. Death is only the beginning for one such as him. Only then can he ascend fully into the warp, as the true god he is. Once there, no longer enfeebled by the anchor of his broken mortal body, he will destroy the ruinous powers and the wailing deities of the Xeno races, and oversee humanity's second great crusade. The lion stares at him. It sounds ridiculous, fanciful, foolish, and yet the forces worshipped by the followers of Chaos are undoubtedly powerful, foul though they are. To label them as gods offends the lion's sensibilities, but there is no other convenient word that will encompass them. In that case, while the lion does not and will never consider his father a god, might the term not similarly be used for an immensely potent psychic who lived for millennia before revealing himself to humanity, and has now persisted for 10,000 more years after taking what should have been a mortal wound? For a psyker capable of sending a psychic signal out through the warp, so powerful that most of the galaxy was able to use it to navigate, who created such remarkable beings as the lion himself, bringing about life in a process which must have involved more than just the skilled manipulation of organic matter. As much as I can never imagine the lion contemplating his father's death, as much as it seems anathema to his very being for me, there's a lot about this new L. Johnson that's unexpected to say the least. If this is a route we do see L. Johnson debating, becoming involved with the developing Starchild narrative, well, that would fit in extremely well, with Cypher being told, not yet. That maybe the Emperor knows all too well. He does need to be released from the throne to win this war, to be reborn, and truly lead a glorious new crusade against the ruinous powers. But that he needs to time it precisely right, or everything could well be lost. And so for all the forces of chaos out there seeking the Starchild, for all the agents of the Inquisition, maybe it could end up being the Lion and Cypher who are the force truly working under the Emperor's guidance. The Emperor depending on the First, as he always did. A legion whose loyalty he never doubted, even in the darkest days of the heresy. The only ones he can trust to do exactly what he needs them to do. It's incredibly unlikely, but I do think we could well see some form of link and crossover between Cypher and the Lion as we move forward, and that it could well concern their duty to the Emperor, perhaps finally revealing just who Cypher is. But as always everyone, what do you think? Do you think we could see a link between Cypher and Lion L. Johnson in regards to the Emperor? Is Cypher truly working for the Emperor? Or if not, then just who could have sent that message? Will we see the Lion meeting Cypher face to face? And will the Lion recognise the sun beneath the hood? Will it be revealed to us, the reader? Or maybe do you think it will be kept a secret? That the Lion knows full well who Cypher is, but we never get to see. At least not yet. But as always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.